Radiant
There's
team
your broodmother response. They took their time, but they got there. Just having a hero that can sit in the lane and defend it against the brood and not be too threatened. But there's a lot of things that can kill Sanking. Like it's not like they've just this brood still to me has a good game. And they've got ways to punish. If Sanking's trying to defend lanes and you
10
rotate on him,
seconds remaining.
like DK, Tiny Miranda, these heroes have tons of kill threat. So I feel like what Army has done really well with
5
their draft
seconds remaining.
is the heroes they picked around the brood are like real playmakers and heroes with a ton of kill threat because you don't want to let the enemy just plop a hero in front of the brood's lane and defend it. You need to punish anyone who's there defending.
Dire team ban.
Gives them kind of that damage you were asking for as well, and an even better way to initiate fights.
With the Sand King?
Yes, yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Curious to see what their last pick is. I assume it's going to be Sancti's hero coming out last.
10 seconds
He does have
remaining.
last pick of the draft, so he may... Hopefully by that point he knows where his lane is. As you kind of
5
mentioned, Army
seconds
Geniuses have a
remaining.
lot of flex potential with some of these picks of theirs.
Yeah, he has played the Sand King before, but again, it's definitely not a hero you kind of want to give him. But the Sand King will have a pretty good matchup versus either a DK or Tiny mid. So that's one thing to consider with this on Lilgun. They also have the potential to give Sand King a really good lane. But looking at Army Geniuses next, they have the 23rd pick. Is there any flaws that you can currently see in their draft that they kind of need to cover with the 23rd?
No, I honestly, I think their draft is just solid. Like I think it's pretty hard to mess up their draft here. They have everything you need. They don't have the best maybe late game scaling unless you look at maybe Tiny as a carry, but I don't really think that's a thing. Lilgun seem to think they're going for a carry, like they ban Wraith King. I think their draft it looks most solid with the Brood offlane DK mid. Like obviously, I think the threat of swapping those lanes is good to still have in case Lilgun do something you don't expect with their lanes, but to me, they just need to pick some kind of safe lane carry to round things out. Maybe like something strong laning early to mid game, not too greedy, like a Juggernaut type hero would be solid in my mind.
Is that then awkward with some of their heroes? Because I think Mirana has to be like a 4. Brood's going to be played off lane.
Yeah.
Then what? You have a Tiny 5 or Mirana 5? Like maybe you could try and play Mirana 5 with a DK carry just so you have that potential of like a stun into arrow, but it doesn't feel very fluid.
Yeah. No, for sure. They don't have a traditional 5. Like Mirana, if Mirana Tiny supports, like you don't have a 5 position in any traditional sense. It's definitely doable. I think I don't know if it was Army
10
Geniuses, but I saw a
seconds
5
remaining.
position Mirana in one of the games recently where, it just kind of
5
does the same thing as
seconds
4,
remaining.
except it's in the safe lane. I think it may have even been Army Geniuses because I want to say I cast their
Radiant
last game with
team pick.
Cyclops. But they go Troll. So this is kind of the strong laning carry.
Choose your
Oh.
hero.
Lilgun don't even... Dude, they were ready for this. They didn't even care what carry came out. I like the Zeus a lot. Zeus is definitely rising in popularity, and especially some of the European regions. And this year, there's nothing really to easily get on top of the Zeus, other than maybe the Brood with her mobility. But I feel like Zeus is in for a good time here.
The 5 Tiny.
Yeah, that's... When's that blink coming? Because you're going to be waiting a long time to see a blink on Tiny.
Oh.
I mean, you've got a DK mid, so he can get the blink up, but like, I just feel like they don't have the best follow for this DK. Like, he initiates blink stuns. Like, you've got an arrow, I guess, but like your damage follow up is a bit lacking.
10 seconds remaining.
It sounds like you're not a big fan of this Army Geniuses draft.
No, I don't know.
seconds remaining.
Firstly, Troll. I mean, maybe I need to have a different opinion on the hero. We did see it first phase. It was SMG, right? That went the Troll and I think I first phase. So
Yeah.
maybe I need a bit of a different opinion. DB does play a very good Troll, but I feel like they've got decent stuns. It's still going to be difficult for them to lock heroes in. I also think this is an incredibly free Zeus game. Like you said, this hero's on the rise. Sanctity plays a very good Zeus. You have multiple heroes to place in front of you. It's going to be really difficult to get onto Sanctity, but BKBs are really the time that Army Geniuses are looking for. Like, apart from the Lycan, it's all magic damage. You're going to need to just run over Lilgun with that BKB timing. If you lose that fight, probably the fight after, I'd be very worried for Army Geniuses.
Oh, I totally agree with what you're saying. Like, they're going to be going triple BKB very quickly, I think. Like, DK, Blink BKB, Brood, probably second item BKB, Troll. I think same thing, second item BKB, depending. I don't know what the build is on Troll these days. If it's still Battle Fury or what, but Maelstrom, maybe. You need some farming item usually on this hero, but yeah, BKBs are a must, and then it's making sure you win those fights, get Roshan. You need a snowball off of those. Like, you've got to win every single team fight once those BKBs come out.
All right, well, here we go. It's a very important series. Just to recap, Lilgun, they do have the capability. If they win this series, then they will secure a slot to be promoted into Division 1 for the next DPC. And, well, if Army Geniuses, if they can take this series, then it just makes the last couple of, the last week 5 and week 6 that much more exciting, and almost puts us in a position where almost guaranteed tiebreakers, which we want. We always want those tiebreakers for a promotional slot, but these are really the two top of the teams here in Division 2, and the fact that we get to see them battle it out with such an interesting lineup as well. We're always worried about the Lycan onto Lilgun. Well, they get that, but the Broodmother gets slipped on by. Like you said, it's kind of fascinating to see Army Geniuses leave it, snatch it themselves. So regardless, Parker, I think we're in for a very, very interesting game.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. There's, definitely some doubts about some parts of, I mean, I think Army Genius is the 5+ tiny, but, you got to kind of respect what a Brood can bring to the table and do in a game. And Womi is very well experienced on this Brood. Seen him, take over games single-handedly. And when there's more on the line, pressure's on, there's, potential Div 1 slot in the future after, it's not till after TI and stuff. I'm sure these teams are maybe more focused on trying to make it to TI, obviously through qualifiers, but you want to get top 2 and then go into the new year. If you're a Div 1 team for the new season, you can attract, like, maybe new free agents, whatever it may be. Like, just being a Div 1 team makes such a big difference for any, pro Dota 2 player.
And you also mentioned TI and the qualifiers as well. It's going to be so important just for momentum. I mean, you mentioned while we were off screen that Lilgun, they've won. Can you re-say the number of how many series they've won in a row?
Dude, they've been crushing. So they've won 16 series in a row. That includes DPC as well as some smaller third-party tournaments. But in those 16 series, they've gone 27-2 in their last 29 games. They have been crushing.
So
2 of those losses, well, all those losses, they had Grimstroke, funnily enough.
They had the Grimstroke? Oh no, yeah. This is no good. Well, it's a really cool strategy of theirs. They love this Grimstroke. Ace 12 can play it, Kishka can play it. I really rate this hero, Parker. I think this is an incredible support. I'm really surprised we're not getting it as much. Well, what's your opinion on the Grim?
Yeah, it does a lot. It's one of those heroes that has a lot of nice combos, stuff you can pair with it, not just for the ultimate, but also the Inkswell, of course. Their Grim Lycan. I don't think they had Grim Lycan in either of those 2 games, so this will be the first time in like the last, month or so where they've had both these heroes together. Everyone just knows it's their strat and bans it usually against them, so... Arrow hits top. They got Sand. I think he's okay, though.
Reese has already used his abilities. DB also a little bit of spam. 11, what's he got? Oh, they got the headdress as well from Kishka. So another thing I was kind of expecting that we might see picked up a little bit more was that headdress. I know we've seen it, well, compared to 7.31D and 7.31C. I mean, headdress is definitely on the rise, but thought it was an item that would be in like 75% of games.
Yeah. It doesn't seem must buy, because I think there was that one patch where it was like a headdress patch, like you'd get double headdress, like one for your safe lane, off lane, and then the item got nerfed. And now it's kind of at a point where with Sal's getting changed, it seems sometimes teams get it. I'm not necessarily sure when or like what the reason is that you want to get it, like in specific games. Obviously, if you're expecting a harass lane, which Troll is, regen becomes more valuable, and having a headdress just means you're not constantly buying and ferrying out more regen.
Yeah, there's a really interesting lane top. Again, the tiny 5, not your traditional position 5, but Troll Wallet is a incredibly dominant laner. I mean, you always pick this hero just to be able to body the lane, so... And Sand King early on isn't the greatest as well, but they do have a lot of magic damage on Lilgun, the double stun potential as well, so... It could be a lane where it goes back and forth, and, we're already going to see the damage getting pumped into the tiny.
Yeah, one of the interesting switch-ups for me is this sending Brood mid against the Zeus. Obviously, I don't think many mid laners have played this matchup. Historically, Brood would crush a Zeus mid, but of course that was also when Spawn Spiderlings wasn't your ultimate. These days, I think once Brood gets level 6, it gets hard for Zeus, but pre-level 6, I think Zeus, if anything, has a bit of an advantage. This new Heavenly Jump is such a broken ability.
I just like that Zeus is kind of coming back. I always like to mention that there's some heroes that I haven't, in my casting career, I haven't had the opportunity to, cast a lot of these heroes. Pugna was one of them, as we're kind of seeing this broken Heavenly Jump. But yeah, it's just nice to see heroes that I haven't been able to cast, coming back into the meta.
Yeah. Dude, the attack speed slow is honestly like, I mean, the slows that go with it. Like, you can just jump at this Brood, and then suddenly the Brood doesn't really want to fight you, or can't, because of all those slows. I mean, so like it's less than 2-second duration, but it's still something. But I agree with you. It's fun to see Zeus back. I think it's a fun hero. This just explosive amounts of magic damage that can be burst out any time. The Ag Scepter is a pretty fun Ag Scepter in my mind. Has a lot of useful kind of ways you can use it in terms of the overall strategy. So definitely fun.
It's definitely a hero, though, that I haven't seen as much down in Southeast Asia. Eastern Europe are really liking it so far. Western Europe are liking it as well. I'm just kind of surprised that we haven't seen it as much. And even when it is played, it's not really attempted to flex as a 4. I mean, they are doing that a lot over in Europe.
Yep. Yeah, Europe, it's like they'll pick it first phase and then just decide later on whether they want to play it support or core. Some teams really like the core. Some are happy to switch it onto the support. Good to see SEA, and that's, I think, something that a lot of the SEA teams have maybe sometimes been a bit slow to adapt to some of the, picks and meta of other regions. They kind of would play their own style, which, every region does, but, we saw at the majors, sometimes it's to a fault, as the SEA teams didn't do particularly well there. So it's good to see, hey, let's play some Zeus. Let's adjust and try and figure out how good this is.
To mention about this bottom lane real quick, I feel like this is just going to be a farm trade. I mean, you got a Dragonite and a Lycan. These heroes they're not going to be brought down. They've got a bunch of sustain. So I feel like it's just going to be the carries or the cores getting their farm, and then more emphasis on Numb and starting to maybe try and rotate. Although, it's not like he really needs to secure runes, though, for Wami.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think so. I think Wami can maybe do it himself if he feels like he has to. There is a bottle on the Brood, and already they're actually using Varus, the Tiny. He rotates top, grabs the water rune.
He's in trouble for the moment. They've used all their abilities, though, so the Whirling Axes preventing the right-click damage. Will get away. Nicely done on DB. They had a slither of a window there with the support not being nearby. Kishka's, he's still hunting. He's not going to have any mana to spam out the Scatter Blasting. And now Variz is going to step in with the combo, so maybe the Snapfire tries to bite off more than he can chew. 11's going to jump in, but hang on. DB, he can man-fight this. He's got the blind. 11's going to be cautious. Variz doesn't have any more abilities to chuck out through this, but the fact that they win out on this trade, they're still going. They've got tossed back up, and they're going to get a double. Oh, Army Geniuses. Beautiful read from DV to stand his ground and man-fight with Variz showing up.
Yeah, that was, a bit of a flub from 11 and Kishka. Like, it felt like they just weren't on the same page initially, and then Army Geniuses, just Variz shows up at the right time. Like, the initial aggression from Lilgun was great. Like, this... You've got to punish Tiny leaving the lane. He goes, like, if there has to be a sacrifice. He goes to secure the runes mid and deny runes from Zeus. It means you have to punish the troll who's left alone. So they try and do that. You don't have to kill him, just get him away from farm. But the problem is, Snap wanted to go for the kill. Sankey wanted to go for the CS. Snap overcommits. Then Sankey's like, oh crap, he's going in. I got to go in. So it was kind of like a save your buddy syndrome where, unfortunately for Lilgun, they, get heavily outplayed there by Army Geniuses. DB just holding his ground and coming out on top.
It's nice that Varish as well is able to get a kill and an assist. You were mentioning, like, how long is it going to take for him to get the blink? So a little bit of a kill involvement's always going to be nice for the 5 Tiny.
You think it's pre or post 20 minutes?
Oh, I mean... I'll go like 18 minutes. I'll put a number out. Well, but you got to get you got to be rotating pretty heavily.
Yeah, and it's not really his job to farm a blink this game. Like, you're not picking the 5 like you pick Tiny early for the flex potential. Maybe he gets a lane at some point. I'm not even sure. Mirana often wants a lane, so we'll see. I don't think it's a core part of their strategy.
We do have the Broodmother with the level 6 though, so Wami already starting to stack up the Spiderlings, Sanctity. So they got 3 points in the Arc Lightning. So, and we'll see how easily he can deal with the Spiderlings.
What is this arc scaling? I never looked at this. It goes from 9 jumps to 15. That's actually going to be solid against Brood. Level 4 arc sounds like a good way of dealing with spiderlings.
But this is just what's going to happen, though. We can just run little spiders. That might be an issue. Like, if Wommy has the jungle to stack up all the spiderlings, then all of a sudden you wrap behind, you're on the Zeus, and I don't think Jump's going to get much distance away.
Kushka rotate with the Invis Room, but they scout him out. Yeah, Zeus just had to go back to base. I think this level 4 arc will make a big difference, but yeah, you've got to try and nuke the spiderlings while not getting jumped by them, and it's very hard when Brood can play over the tree line.
Like the emphasis. Kishka? Arrow. I was going to be able to sidestep this thanks to the Observer Ward. They're actually going to put the Ink Spell onto Sanctity charging through, but Brood Mama will be fine. Yeah, you do.
Like, heavenly jump in. Come on, bro.
New strategy. They don't need the Lycan Grimstroke. Zeus Grimstroke, that's good enough.
Yeah. Speaking of Lycan, level 3 wolves, so we'll see if, you know, he starts rotating those wolves around. They've already got the Invis, and often one of those parts of the Lilgun strategy where, you know, leave the hero in the lane to farm while the wolves go venturing out.
How do you feel like Army Geniuses can play with this first Elder Dragon form, though, on Ariza? Is it just enough to bring them around on bottom and for, like, a little bit of chip damage, or do you feel like they can bring more resources?
I think he's kind of chilling. I think they're still in farm mode. Like, you don't want to group up too much and slow down your farm because of how important these BKBs and timings are. And I think Brood is just going to be farming jungle plus lane and slowly poking at... Brood can take mid-tier 1 alone. You just keep sending those spiderlings in from the jungles over the tree line. Oh, Zeus ult was that? Oh, close to getting around at bottom.
It was the wolves and the Inkswell that almost brought him down to that threshold where the Zeus ulti was going to be enough.
Yeah, but I think the issue is, like, there's no one that really wants to come and push with the DK. Like, the Mirana will stay down here. Maybe you can rotate Tiny, but both Trolls just wants to jungle, and so does Brood right now.
I guess maybe the issue as well is the fact that it's a DK bottom. It's not a DK mid. It's much easier to rotate mid. I mean, you're directly in the middle of the map, so you can then... It won't take you as long to go back to either your safe lane or your off lane.
Yeah, I could see DK rotating. If anyone rotates, maybe it's the DK who rotates mid to try and secure this mid-tier 1 tower if Brood can't take it alone. But it does look like, if anything, yeah, Womi at least is coming bottom for now. He's starting to send some webs down there. Maybe it's just to farm the jungle, but it does put him pretty close to this bottom tier 1 tower. So they could just be looking to push this with Dragon Form. I could just totally be misreading this.
The Wolves does scout out Wommy coming down, though, so they will have at least some information of the Brood's position. Yeah, good luck. I don't know. You deal with a lot of the spiders, at least.
Yeah, I'm not sure how easily they take this one. I do think Brood's best bet is just power farming jungle right now. Like, play for your item timings, but obviously Brood is very strong right now. Yeah. A lot of info. I love the way Womi's using these spiderlings. Like, he's just like sending 4 or 5 out in different directions just to scout enemy heroes and get a read of where they are.
They're trying to get Sanctity up top. Nice jump. Just, man. If Ariz was able to get that toss back, they had DB who just TP'd up. Narman was here as well. So very close to getting a big kill. Bottom lane at 0, though. He's going to be brought down, so it's Ace 12 and 4-2-3 in conjunction together with the Shapeshift. They're able to get their first kill of the game.
Yeah. I think these heroes in the offlane, like, you got to punish them. Like, that's what they tried to do in Zeus, but like, you can't let a DK just play bottom alone. You know, these offlane heroes are just being a bit too greedy, it seems like. Kind of interesting from Lilgun. Toss an arrow combo. We'll get Norman here. But yeah, heroes like Zeus, it's kind of interesting. He's being forced to play this offlane because they need the Sanking kind of to follow around the Brood a bit. So Sanking wants to be in the mid lane where the Brood was, and also just it's easier to get to the side lanes from mid without having to use your TP. So they're going to send this Brood to kind of defend this mid-tier 1 tower since Zeus is too vulnerable there.
It's also just 11 was maybe able to farm the triangle because he's already got a goddamn blink. So this is just an exceptional blink timing from 11. Really what they needed to be that playmaker. Now you can chuck the Ink Spell on him, which is already level 3 as well from Ace 12. And that plus the Thunder Gods, that's a kill on anyone.
Yeah. He's super happy finding this chip vest against Brood 2.
They do
Must
see
feel
it,
super
though.
nice.
Okay, that's really important, though, from Dire. So they get confirmation of 11 having a blink, which they probably wouldn't have expected it maybe for another minute or two. So now Army Geniuses can play accordingly.
Yeah, and Brood instantly goes to jungle defensively because Brood herself was getting scattered out. These Lycan Wolves, yeah, they're tracking this Brood in the jungle. So both teams are doing a really good job. Lilgun was smoked up, though. They want to try and get a blink jump here. But it does feel like Army Genius are ready for this. They preemptively Moonlight Shadow. It almost feels like a defensive Moonlight just to dodge this smoke gank because there was a scan on top of the smoked up heroes.
Beautifully done. Just going to wait this one out. They, of course, have a really good ward as well. That's still up and the Spiderling. So shortly they're going to get some, at least that double confirmation of Lilgun. And they're just wasting time. Kishka and 11 inside the river. Haven't been able to run into end. Top lane, you've got Varese, who's getting a little bit of farm. Meanwhile, DB, he's been untouched as well. This is going to be a crazy Battle Fury timing for the Troll.
Interesting from Zeus, not going from the Ag Scepter build. I feel like that's just been the go-to build for every like core Zeus I've seen, but going a different direction with this Sanj and Kaya, it looks like.
I'm worth so much more.
Does feel like this game is slowing down into a bit more of a farm battle, at least for now. I mean, so much of this is because, I mean, we talk so much about the BKBs and how important they are, and I think for Lilgun, they do want to start upping the tempo. Like, you've got Blink Sanking, you've got this Lycan with Helm, plus the, the Inkswell combo that they're, so well known for. They don't want to just get into a farm battle against this Army Genius side who almost have Battle Fury on Troll.
I think maybe that's the... Oh, hold that thought. 4-2-3.
Bounty.
Nicely done. Should be able to get the TP out of 0 and close the distance. I think that's a concern, though, from Lilgun, is that their ways to take objectives, or at least force objectives, is a little bit more lackluster than Army Geniuses. You can rotate the Lycan, but this game, 4-2-3's put a lot more emphasis on just farming the safe lane. And without having a hero to kind of force Army Genius to defend top, then we've seen Lilgun, they've just had to be relying on these smoke games, and that initial one didn't work out. So they're not being able to get these pickoffs, because I'm 100% in agreement. You got this early blink, you have a lot of kill potential, you need to use it. But the fact that you're not like pressuring Army Geniuses to bring numbers to defend top, so Lilgun aren't getting that fight.
And honestly, a huge part of not finding any action has been Womi's Brood. Like, I'm actually so impressed watching his micro of these Spiderlings. They're constantly scouting out heroes. And it's also like, you send out these Spiderlings 5 directions and don't see anyone. Like, you can maybe figure out, like, oh, they probably smoke. Varus in some trouble.
Yeah, this is
tiny. Yeah, it's fine.
It is very aggressive positioning. I guess it pulls him away from mid, so Glyph's going to be forced. Oh, 11.
Womi.
Where's the follow-up, though?
Yeah. He gets out of there. It was the soonest Brood saw them away from mid tier 1, he's like, oh sweet, I can get in, put my Spylings in this tower, and they just instantly glyph and TP Sanking in. But like you say, they need that follow-up. Sanking doesn't have a hero that easily keeps up with him. Like 2, range supports that want to sit back. A Zeus wants to sit back. Lycan can, but he's not, he's not like a blink hero. He's got mobility through his movement speed, but if he's on one part of the map, he can't just instantly show up somewhere else.
Army Geniuses, they now have their own way to be able to start fights. 0 with this Blink Dagger on the Dragonite. Going to try and catch out some stragglers. They do have the ward on the higher ground, so they're going to see Kishka's position. Rana's going to be nearby as well to land the follow-up. Arrow might be a little bit too late. Kishka's able to sidestep this, but still, with 3 heroes surrounding the Snapfire, it's going to be an easy kill.
Yep. Just the support. Similar story to Tiny getting called out. Not these, like, huge impact kills that instantly lead to, a key objective, although it does, happen around this mid lane. I don't imagine Lilgun give this up without a fighter. They've got Sanking here. He's got Blink. He's got Epicenter. Probably wants to defend this, but even someone like DK can just keep poking at it with that dragon form. Unless they're willing to jump on in. They need Snapfire alive because that level 6 Mortimer's Kisses is the kind of the kill threat that you need to deter a DK from just pushing your towers.
I've got to pan on over to DB again, though. Battle Fury, I believe, was completed like 30 minutes in. Let's see if Sanctity's going to be in a bit of trouble here. DB's going to pop the ultimate, but no, doesn't get the right pathing. A little bit awkward there, so Sanctity, very nicely done. Scan, but yeah, they'll be too late with the TP out. So that's 1 man DB now bottom. Let's see what Lilgun want to do with this. Top lane. Boots of travel already on the Sand King. They're in with the Mortimer Kisses as well. Beautifully done, Lilgun. That's a great read. They see 2 heroes bottom. They recognize Azure is more than likely solo, so they can jump in with no hesitation.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
He started casting the kisses before Sanking even landed the blink stun.
Who else they found?
Not done.
All right.
Just great quick moves from Lilgun. This is what they need to be doing. They, as I said earlier, they don't want to just get into this farm battle. They need to be making these plays. Troll is going to out-farm them, outscale them, particularly with the Lycan carry matchup. This is not one that Lycan wants to go late with, but he's, you know, his Helm of the Overlord's coming out. Means Ancient Creep will be online. This Boots of Travel on Sand King's giving them this global catch potential as well, where Sand King can defend one lane and then TP in for a fight somewhere else on the map, which is really important to have against a hero like Brood.
And they also get a tower off the back of that as well. The T1 mid's going to be claimed now, so can... I don't know if they can Rosh with Helm of the Overlord. They'll need a pick off definitely as Azura.
Yeah.
They're going to run into the Grimstrokes, or at least with the Dragon Knight and Mirana paired together, they should be able to get a kill. But again, it's really just supports that are bleeding their lives. There's no valuable kill that we've seen so far.
Yep. I think this mid-tier on tower is what Army Jesus really want. I'm curious to see if they go for it now. The Kisses being on cooldown plus the Lycan Shapeshift, I think means it's safe to go for this.
All right, that's a very deep path around the tower. It's going to come at a cost, but hang on. Meanwhile, the backline, Wummy, he's onto Sanctity. The Orchid being able to bring him down. They'll turn to Kishka afterwards. Beautifully done, Army Genius. They get to and they get the tier 1 tower.
Wormy just found the perfect angle of attack because this Zeus kind of exposed himself by going. I mean, Tiny was so dead. Zeus was about to blow him up. He had ultimate and everything. But then Brood used the fact that Zeus had like kind of pushed too far forward to come on in over the trees. And the key thing is there getting the Orchid off before he jumps away. Because the second Zeus sees Brood, he's throwing that heavenly jump. He does not want Brood to ever get on top of him. But this Orchid just gives you a way to actually kill Zeus now.
Well, this is big. They see DB with that ward. They're going to know around about his farming pattern. 11's going to be able to catch him out. They'll need the epicenter for the kill. And with the silence, they're going to prevent the battle trance. They even get some help out of the Centaur Conqueror. The chain control is perfect as Lilgun. That's a huge kill. That's the valuable kill we've been looking for. Yeah. They get rid of DB, who's been free farming this game.
And that's the Roshan kill now. All their ultimates coming back up means even if there's a contest, they may be ready to fight this one, but it does look like a contest is on the way. Very bold decision. Army Genius with Varus. He's so close to his blink. Unfortunately, he's going to be the one who maybe has to sacrifice his life to go in.
He's going to chop the combo. Ace 12 should tick out to the fireball, but the backline, Wummy once again targeting down the Snapfire. But they control him the once and they secure the kill. Sanctity been able to pump in the damage from the Zeus, taking the Broodmother now out of the equation. But Lilgun, how long do you want to stick around? Shapeshift, a quarter duration left, and DB almost alive.
I think it's weird because Lilgun is stronger, but they just kill Roche too slow. Like, I think Lilgun are happy to stick around and take another fight, maybe, particularly while Troll is dead. But at some point, they're just like, we can't finish this Roche off. Lycan's the only one in the pit. His ulti's wearing off. Like, Sanking and... Oh, they found Varus.
Looking to D-ward the cliff. One more right click. Oh, he's not going to get it. Azura is in.
He's blink.
Oh,
the dream.
No. Oh, well, it's pre-20
20 minutes.
Let's go.
Oh, that's... Honestly, that's such like a big swing there. Like, usually these support kills or whatever, but that was like 100 gold from Blink, and he lives and then gets the
They're still around. Although he should be killed off.
Blink.
Oh, that's all right. Okay.
It's
mission
fine.
done.
It's fine. Look, that's what matters most. He's like, it's fine. Don't worry, I got my Blink. Now we know for sure there's a ward up there. Like, we won't make that mistake again. And, you know, they're not in Roshan. So, at least not for now.
Not for now, but DB has this Sanjin Yasha, and more than likely is going to go BKB next item. You've got Azure with the Fireball completed, so probably BKB next for him as well, and that was what we were looking for. We felt like BKBs were going to be the biggest timing for Army Geniuses, but they're not going to have it for this Roche.
Yeah, we'll see. Will they force this? They know Dire don't have BKBs, and that's when they get super scary. So they really want to try and take Roshan and force the objectives while BKBs are down.
Combo out. Azure's got the follow-up as well. They need to burst down the like, and they should be able to, but Azure just gets melted. DB's going to enter the backline. Meanwhile, the Aegis has been snagged from 11, so at least they have the second life to work with, but they need to be cautious about their positioning. Without anyone to protect the cores, the squishy supports are going to be vulnerable as Varese finds a beautiful angle under the secret shop. And now they're going to turn to Sanctity next as well. Is stuck in the tree line. Tiny trying to close the distance. The pogo stick over. Sanctity looks like he will be fine. There's no way he goes for it on Verishion. No, not going to be the case.
Engage?
Oh, nice reactions.
Okay. I mean, great Roach contest. Unfortunately, Lilgun walk away with the Aegis, but they get the Lycan kill. Even with the shapeshift coming off, there was just enough follow-up damage. Honestly, I feel like the star of that fight for me was Narman. Hustle on the Mirana. Like, he leapt in, put his body on the line to make sure they secured the kill. He had a Wraith Pact, which blocked so much damage in the fight as well. And then when he got leashed to the Troll, he followed Troll into battle. He's like, okay, we're leashed together and you want to go kill them? I'll just keep walking in with you. So Narman was willing to be like this frontline Mirana. And with the items he's got, he's pretty damn tanky. Not a hero you normally associate with being on the front lines, but he made it work.
Dire's bottom tower.
Look at this maneuver. Army geniuses. They're going to run into Sanctity. Oh, he jumps, but still the arrow pathing's on the mark, but a 4-staff away. Can they protect Sanctity? Into the tree line it goes. Another cookie down to the left.
Another jump.
They should get the kill. One arrow and they finally get him. But at what cost? It might be too grave as Army geniuses 2 are down. Soon to be a 3rd as well. As Lilgun, they don't keep Sanctity alive, but at least they make the trade worth it.
Yeah, dude, 10-second cooldown Heavenly Jump, you know, that's... He was making them work hard for it. He does end up going down there, but boy, I feel like you can see how scary this Zeus is going to be, though. Like, especially right now, I mean, I guess BKBs will negate some of his power spike, but like once he gets some ability item, a Blink or a 4-staff, or even just this Aether Lens that lets him position further back, he is such a difficult hero to deal with, and you know, it's every single fight Army Geniuses need to find a way to get on top of this Zeus. Otherwise, he's just going to eat him alive. And, well, Lilgun, you know, they're dead set on defending him, protecting him where possible. 11 Sanking particularly has been really on point this game since getting this Blink.
He's going to be a menace now. I mean, I feel like the big issue on the Sand King is kind of the early game. If you do have a good time, you can go this Ag Shard, and then that's going to really help out with your farm and kind of your scaling overall. And he's already got this Aghanim Shard, which is really important. You mentioned the mobility from Sanctity. He went Blink Dagger as well, so all eyes on how they can position. It's going to get a lot easier shortly for them. But again, we are looking for the BKBs. We've got one more component from the Troll. Azura needs 2, and, well, Wami's got his.
Yeah. I think that's where this game starts to get pretty tricky for Lilgun. They're going to have to completely change how they approach team fights, and, you know, they need to bait out BKBs. You're going to hear, like, Sanking, you can always blink in, stun, or you burst someone before they can BKB. Considering that there isn't much save on the Army of Genius' side, you know, you've got ways to play against them, but you have to change and factor that in anytime you initiate. Like, you can't just go in and expect to burst someone down with magic damage if they're not chain stunned. Similarly, you know, if a troll runs at you with BKB on, you have to find a way to disengage.
I fear nothing.
Oh, 11? Are they gonna? No, I don't think they're gonna go. At least they scout out the Sand King TPing back. They do have a really nice ward in the backline as well. So Army Geniuses. Looks like both sides just a little bit of chip damage. It will be Glyph's Force. Actually, top tower might go down.
Yeah, I think they want the Ancient Creep. 250 gold. Defend the top tower too. It's deniable, but I'm not sure they want to deny that since it could give up outpost control. You can always use it to maybe bait another fight here, so... I like the plays from both teams is Sanking utilizing the fact he's an Aegis where he's like, okay, I can just TP bottom to defend. If they go on me, my teammates will then show up. And the response from that from Army Genius is like, okay, they TP Sanking bottom. That means we get to defend top and not give up this tower.
Here we go.
Here come Lilgun. Yeah. They know they can get that blink jump. Yes, Brute has a BKB. She's on the
Great
cliff,
positioning.
though, which means this smoke... Yeah, you can pop the smoke and see them.
Azura.
They're ready for this.
Although, they're going to get the proc, so he's unable to blink away. They're trying to leash Wami together as well. They won't have that to lock him into place. No one else nearby,
That's
but
shard.
hang on. They're still chasing him down. Wami, though, he's going to need some help. Sidesteps the stun, but Wami beat the last second. Now with the life still coming back, can Wami survive through the damage at the moment? It's looking like that's going to be the case. They deal with the Aegis, but can they get set up for round 2? Charging to the backline's going to be DB. Grimstroke's going to be killed off. Now they can turn to Kish Connects, but the BKB, it's been expended and they can go back in now if they get the combo. But Breeze is going to make sure that's not a possibility. In first before the Sand King. It's still going to come at a cost, though. You keep the troll alive, but again, it's Army Geniuses. That was a bit of a BKB timing. They had 2 available, and they weren't able to take the fight with it.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is that Sand King shard. Yeah, like you mentioned in the fight, it stopped the blink out. I think DK's like, okay, I'm going to position here on the high ground. My brood's on the cliff. Like, I can pop a smoke and then blink away, but as soon as that shard pulse hits you, your blink's being cancelled, and that's the one hero who doesn't have BKB popping the smoke, so they kind of try and force the fights anyways, but, you know, troll BKB and just troll as a hero. This hero's success in a team fight just comes down to whether or not he gets kited, and the way Lilgun played around, like, you know, their 4-staff, their mobility, the Sand King being annoying. They've got double 4-staff and Heavenly Jump. Like, this troll gets kited very easily when heroes like DK are dead, because they rely on stuff like Dragon Tail to lock heroes down.
And Azura's not having a good game at all. I'll hold that thought, because T2 Tower mid might go down as well. Almost a... Who have they caught out? TP! TP! How are you entering the fight with that angle? He'll get the ultimate off at the last second. They're trying to lock down the Sand King, but still, without the BKB to be able to utilize, they find a big kill. And now Lilgun, they're just going to kite this out. And Wami recognizes he cannot continue the chase, and Sanctity, well, he's going to jump back in. Doesn't get the combo out. Army Genius is back to the safety of their high ground.
They're getting pushed away. Lilgun finding ways to make this work. Is that the lack of save? I mean, you can't always draft it.
They're going to bleed another kill. Breeze.
Brood's found the backlines, though.
Oh, boy. Okay. Maybe the Grimstroke they can get down. Azura's going to jump in the middle of this well, but the buyback on 11. They feel the importance of the team fight, and it's going to pay off. They get the Grimstroke. Now they're going to turn to Nama next to Cookie Stein. Just too late, but hang on. They got a bigger fish to fry. Azura, they found out the Dragonite BKB protecting him for the moment.
Doesn't feel good, though.
He's going to make it away, but hang on. The buildings, they're just melting.
Lilgun,
they'll turn to the objectives instead.
Yep. Mirana getting away with the gem at least. You know, it felt like a small victory, but then suddenly you realize, wait a second, our Brood just died because of this great buyback from Sand King. 11, honestly, has been the standout player this game. And suddenly, your base is full. Like, this is the issue of losing a fight on your side of the map against a hero like Lycan is, if you don't have buybacks, suddenly, that's a guaranteed lane of racks down. Roshan could respawn in the next couple of minutes too. At least Army Geniuses will be alive for that one. But it's so important, I think, that they don't give Lilgun a free Aegis now, because that just really set up Lilgun to take game 1.
It feels like just Army Geniuses, if you don't win the fight off the back of the BKB, that's it. Like, fight's over. Is there any other thing that you're kind of seeing from them?
I think it's definitely that, but I think a big part of it is who gets the jump, because both teams have this, like, chain stun, like DK, Mirana, Tiny on one side, Sand King, Cookie, Grimstroke, and so, like, both teams have chain stun, and neither team have a way to essentially break up the chain stun, like, you know, the Abaddon shields, the Legion commanders, the Lotus Orb type things. Like, there's no save on either team, so whoever gets the jump generally has an advantage. The one thing where I feel like we're seeing Lilgun come out on top is they have more save, because they've got double 4-staff. Like, Brood committed onto, I think it was one of the supports. It was either Grimstroke or Snapfire in that fight. And he does end up getting the kill, but they double forced away, and Brood, as a result, was really deep. Like, the reason Brood dies there is because he has to overcommit because of double 4-staff. And then at that point, like, you know, Sand King's willing to buy back to turn the fight, knowing that Brood's overcommitted, used her entire BKB just to kill a support. So 4-staffs to me right now are winning these team fights for Lilgun.
And that's a really beautiful read from Lilgun, recognizing that you just need to drag the fight out. If you can kite them, get that BKB, you're onto cooldown, and that's where the defensive items come into play. So the supports, you've mentioned a lot, 11 this game and how he's been playing, but also just the itemization from Ace 12 and Kishka's really put them in this prime position. No, he's going to deny the DD, so we won't have a fight around the river.
And get the cookie in. This is where the standoff will commence. Roche will be up very soon. Both teams, you know, have summons and stuff. They can scout that out. It's like one of these games where neither team's ever going to get a big vision advantage. Gems, summons, there's so many ways to scout, so you've got to use these smokes effectively. And Lilgun are at it again, seeing if they can find a way in. Wolves will scout the high ground first, giving them vision.
They're going to look to go.
Well,
11 with the jump. They're going to target the Broodmother for the moment. Wommy's in trouble again. A BKB, but the damage has been dealt. Is trying to lifesteal off the Ancient Creep, but 423 should be able to get the kill. Can they turn it around though? DP, he's locked onto the Zeus. DP, beautifully done, but 11's in. What a combo. 11 finds the target. The magic damage is there, and DV's gone just like that.
it's just so much firepower. Like, every single hero on Lilgun is packing a punch. Like, I look at the Zeus like, oh crap, this fight could go south. Like, that's their mid laner. He's their damage. They're like, wait a second. They have a Soulbind, Burrow Strike, Epicenter combo
Zero?
coming on in.
See what they can do with the combo again.
Yeah.
Alright, they'll get the Snapfire. Nama's got a leap to be able to play with.
All right.
And without the blink from 11 to catch them. Nice, the hold. All right.
Okay, cost them one buyback, but you're more than happy with the at least the outcome of that push. The fight before, I don't think you're too happy with if your army geniuses. They're thinking like, you know, how can we prevent this? The issues, I mean, again, like so much of these fights, kind of what I pointed out before, is like who gets the jump. Like, there's no save. If somebody gets blink stunned, I don't know how they didn't quite chain stun the Brood there. I think the Sanking Burrow Strike didn't get the combo with the Inkswell quite right. But they still killed the Brood just because of how much right-click damage Lycan brought. So they need to find a way in Army Geniuses to use their smokes better and play around their vision better and not get initiated on every single time. They need to be the ones, like, we've yet to see Azura start a fight with his Blink Dragonite. It feels like he's always playing on the defensive, using his BKB reactionary. Like, I want to see a fight where DK or Tiny starts things off.
I think this is a big reason of the vision advantage that Lilgun are playing with. You mentioned earlier that Wommy was doing a really good job with the Spiderlings to scout out those early rotations when Lilgun were trying to get pickoffs with his blink timing, but it's really just been the Wolf's micro from 423 and Sanctity as well. Yeah. I mean, that is the power of the Zeus. It just makes it so difficult for you to play with wards.
Yeah, it's something both teams have, and it, you know, you're sending those summons into vision, but if you're Army Geniuses, you're like, oh, these summons are coming at us, we can kill them, but the problem is you've now been you have a way to scout out the enemy with no risk, because if you have to scout with your hero, you get initiate on, but when you can scout with these summons, you find the enemy. Your Sanking can blink from fog or from smoke because he's out of range, and there's how do you react to that if you're Army Geniuses? I just don't think you can. Which is where they need to be the ones, at least in that situation, being more proactive, starting fights. Of course, right now, they're playing into an Aegis. I think you just defend your high ground, but once this Aegis wears off, if they get to a point where they hold their high ground...
They might just jump a zero. Again, the Dragonite! Oh my God. The first to die to start. Look at the damage!
Yep. They've got that Zeus Ags online now.
He might have been giving the shard as well. I'm not quite sure where that shard went. All 5 of Lilgun have it, but they do also have the Aegis on Sanctity.
Yeah, this Stagfield is a lot of extra damage coming out. Lilgun don't want to overcommit too much onto the high ground here. Probably, you know, they know there's tiny tossbacks, there's DK buybacks. I think the reason DK frontlines there, he even had, you know, he could have popped his BKB and died, but he held on to it. He's like, okay, I'm going to play for my buyback. And Lilgun aren't going high ground because they're respecting the fact that they have a pretty good idea. DK, sorry, has buyback here.
I don't know how you hold this though on... Oh, they're going to jump for his... Oh, nice. The Wolves at 11! Again, a double Burrow Strike, so Tiny's just gone. That's a dieback dead for 70.
That should be Rax now, I think. I guess he saw an opening there because he just blinked in, looked like he was going for a toss. I think your DK was so close to respawn. The only way that works is if you get the toss back, and DK probably has to buy back for the fight. I think you're just better off staying high ground. Your DK was like 15, 20 seconds away. Wait for the respawn. Yeah, sure, Lilgun are probably going to back off by the time he respawns, but instead they mess up the initiation. They're down another lane of Rax. It's not over. Like, Troll is theoretically the strongest late game carry. There's a lot of things to kite him, a lot of annoying things he's playing into, but Lycan is not going to like outscale Troll Warlord on his own. He's very reliant on his teammates to deal with this Troll.
No, but he does have a DD now just to munch on the supports and a Halberd to kite the Troll. So good luck surviving this last fight. And they're a little bit too late to get set up in a position to take a fight by this tier 2. I mean, dude, 11! How many times you gonna find multi-man burrow strikes like that? Gets the initiation with a leash follow-up as well, with the Mortimer Kisses almost bring down Naaman. Down to the south, though. Tabs onto Wami. Sanctity is able to secure with a kill. Now with the BKB expiring from DB. That's it. They weren't able to take the fights off the back of the initial BKBs, and Lilgun. Man, what a game one from them. They give him the combo, they get the Lycan, they get the Grimstroke, and they will make him pay.
Yeah, and honestly, just a super solid game. Like, I don't feel like this was an outdraft or anything. Like, yeah, the Lycan Grim combo is like one of their cheesy things they're known for. Like, I don't think they really leaned on it too much. Like, there were a few moments in the laning stage where they killed the DK. But if anything, this game was just one off of amazing execution of team fights. Like, it just felt like Lilgun were playing fearlessly. Like, every single fight, they were the ones just jumping in, trusting each other to back each other up, using these 4-stops really effectively, and just constantly putting Army Genius on the back foot, whereas it felt like Army Geniuses were maybe a little too passive. I think particularly you look at Azura, like, he was playing in the off lane, like when, you know, usually he's at home in the mid lane. It just felt like his DK never really got to find a way into this game to impact things. So just honestly, so impressed by Lilgun, though.
Yeah, it really felt like they did a lot of things right in this game. It wasn't just that individual player who was really the standout. It was everyone from them doing what they were required. I mean, 11 had another incredible performance on the Sand King. We don't see this hero often, but the amount of times he was able to get that jump to start the fight, not only on one hero, but multiple heroes, 4-2-3 with his micro, the supports with their itemization. It was just all incredibly important for Lilgun to find this game 1 victory. And again, this is a really important series, and Lilgun, the fact that they're 1 game up now. If they can win another game, take this series, then they will secure their spot into Division 1 for the next DPC. So incredible position for them to be in, but the job is not done just yet. We're going to find out how our game 2 shapes up after the break.